Good afternoon everyone. Today I am going to discuss about the computer network subject unit 5, that is application layer. In previous class we have discussed about the client server programming and WW World Wide Web. So these two topics we have discussed in the previous video class. Now I am going to continue from HTTP. HTTP means hypertext transfer protocol. Okay. So see this just the uh, reference what is a client server programming, and these are things we have explained in the last class: application programming interface, sockets. So in this diagram, this is the architecture of the client server programming, having the client side and server side. So this is the application programming interface, and this is the sockets and socket address, and these things are we have, and this is finding the socket address. In this we having a server side and client side. Okay. So these are the different things we have discussed in the previous class, and we have discussed about WW also. Now I am going to explain about the HTTP. Okay. So this is the architecture of the WW, and this is the diagram, and this is the explanation of this diagram, that is web client, browser, and web server, uniform resource locator URL, and these are the protocol, host, port. These are the different things we have explained in the previous class. Now I am going to discuss about the HTTP, that is hypertext transfer protocol. Okay. So let's see this topic. So this is the HTTP protocol. So what is meant by HTTP? So hypertext transfer protocol is used to define how client server program can return to retrieve web pages. So what is meant by HTTP? HTTP is the full form is a hypertext transfer protocol. HTTP is called the hypertext transfer protocol. Is a protocol used mainly to access the data on the World Wide Web. HTTP functions as a combination of FTP and SMTP. Okay. So here this HTTP is used to define how the client server programs can return to retrieve web pages from the web, and HTTP client sends a request. A HTTP clients will be send the request, and HTTP server returns a response. Okay. So what we having the two devices, between the two devices we are sending the request and response through the HTTP client and HTTP server. Okay. So through HTTP client we are sending the request, and we are receiving the response from the HTTP server. The server uses the port number. So whenever we are sending the response to the client, the server will be uses the port number, that is 80, and the client uses the temporary port number. The HTTP uses the service of TCP, which is a connection oriented and reliable protocol. Connection oriented and reliable protocol. So in this we having these sections: HTTP transaction, persistence versus non-persistence connections. Now I am going to discuss about the so this is the point. Now I have explained, that is we use the services. So as the HTTP server side we are using the port number, that is 80. Okay. So and it also uses the service, that is TCP. Okay. The HTTP transaction. Coming to the HTTP transaction. So what is meant by HTTP transaction? HTTP uses the service of TCP. It is a stateless protocol. HTTP transaction is nothing but it uses the service of TCP. It is a stateless protocol. The client initializes the transactions by sending a request message. Okay, sending a request message. The server replies sending a response. Having the following diagram regarding this HTTP transaction. So this is the diagram of the HTTP transaction. We are having the client here, and at the right side having the server. So what the client is doing, the HTTP client will be sending the request to the HTTP server, and HTTP server is giving the response to the HTTP. Okay, this like the message will be passing with each other. So this is the transaction of the HTTP. So what is mean by message? So what is mean by message? In this way, message means what? between these two clients we are sending the messages. Okay, request means what? We are having some message in this. So whenever I am giving any message to the server, through that message it will be reply, it will be give the result or answer, input output to the client. So that is the transaction of the HTTP. So what is the message here? The format of the request, and response messages are similar. Both are shown in the diagram. So a request message consists of request line, a header and sometimes a body, and a response message consists of a status line, a header and sometimes a body, So in this we having diagram. So this is the diagram of the request and response message. How the message will be look like? This is request line. We have whenever I am sending the message, request message, this is the response message. At the left side I am having the request message, at the right side I am having response message. In the request message, what type of information I am having? So this is the request line, headers, a blank line and body which present only some message. Okay, so at the status line, at the response message we having the status line, header. Status line means what? It will be responsive. Okay, whenever I am sending the request line, it will be it is the status of the server, I mean response server class, HTTP server. Okay, and header, a blank line and body which presents some messages. Okay, so this is the actual message which is present in the transaction. Okay, so in this we having the request and status line. What is mean by request and status line? The first line in a request message is called a request line. The first line in the response message is called the status line. So what is meant by request line and status line, ma? So whatever the first line will be required in the request line, request message, that is called the request line, and what are the first line in the response message is called the status line. So this is the status and request line. Okay, this is mean. So this is the request, this is the diagram of the request and status line. So request type, this is the request line, this is the status line. At the request line I having the request type, some space, and we are maintaining some URL, again space, and we having the HTTP version. So at the status line we having the HTTP version, status code and status phase. So this is the diagram of the request and status line. So what is the request type? This is the field used in a request message. In version 1.1 of HTTP, several request types are defined. The request type is categorized into methods. Okay, so we have what is mean by URL? We told that between that we are having using the URL. So what is mean by URL here? So URL defines the address and name of the corresponding web pages. So what is mean by URL? URL means it defines the address and name of the corresponding web pages. Okay, so version means what? We told that we are using the version. The most correct version of HTTP is 1.1. Okay, next is status code. So status code means this field is used in the response message. The status code field is similar to those in those FTP and SMTP protocols. It consists of 3 digits, whereas the codes in the 100 range are only 100 range are only informational. The codes in 200 range indicates a successful request. The codes in 300 range directly redirect the client to another URL, and the code in 400 range indicates an error at the client side. Finally, the code in 500 range indicates an error at the server side. Okay, so this is called the status code. Okay, we are having the table here. So this is the table of the method. So we are having the methods here: get, head, post, put, trace, connect, option. So what is the use of this? This is the what the get will be. What are the action performed by using the get. It means get is nothing but request a document from the server. So whenever we are using the get, it is nothing but we are going to request the document from the server. So next coming to head. Why we are using head? Request information about a document but not the document itself. Okay, only we are taking the information, which data, which document we have been given. Okay, so request information about the document, not the document itself. Okay, so we are taking the information regarding the document, we are not taking the document. Okay, so that is called the head. Next, post. Send some information from the client to server, that is called the post. Put means what? Send a document from the server to the client. So post means we are sending the information from client to server. Put means we are sending the document from server to the client. So that is the post and put. Next, trace. Trace means echoes the incoming request. So that is called the tracing. We are going to trace the request. So connect means reserved. Connect means we are first only we are reserving the connection establishment between the two devices. That is called the connect. Next, option. In inquiries about available options. Options means we are inquiring. If we don't know anything, we are going to inquire something in the options. So these are the methods which is available in this HTTP transaction. Next, coming to status code. This is the status code. Okay, next in this status code we have the code, phrase and description. So we having the, this is the code of 100, 101, 200, 201, 201, 202, 204. So these are the different codes we are having. So 100 means continuing, and 101 means switching, 200 means okay. So these are the different things. This is the informational about the status code, and this is the success of the status code. Okay, and this is the redirection. So we told that if we use in the first field, see, if you see the first code, so this is the first field up to 100 and 101 up to here, it is called the this status code field is similar to those FTP and SMTP. If we take the range from 100, that are informational, that are the informational things will be available from range 100. Okay, if we talk about the code in the range 200, indicates that success request. If we talk about the 300 range, redirection the client and another URL, and the code is in 400 range, indicates an error at the client side. And if we talk about code range 500, there indicates an error at the server side. So it is the most common codes we are having in the status codes. Okay, so next, coming to what is mean by status phrase. This field is used to respond the message. It explains the status codes in text form, also gives the status phrase. Okay, what is mean by header? We are telling that we are having a header. Header exchanges additional information between the client and the server. For example, the client can request that the document be sent in a special format, or the server can send extra information about the document. Okay, the header can consist of one or more header lines. Each header line has a header name, a colon, a space and a header value. So a header line belongs to one of four categories: general header, request header, response header and entity header. A request message can contain only general request, contain only general request and entity headers. So a response message, on the other hand, can contain only general response and entity headers. So this is called the header. So this is the header format. So this is the header name and this is the header value. Between those things we are having this space. So general header means what? Here general header is nothing but the general header gives general information about the message and can be present in both a request and a response. So it lists some general headers with their descriptions. So this is the general header. Okay. Next, request header. So what is my general header? I having the table. This is the general header. In the general header, I having the catch control, connection, date, MIME version, upgrade. So what is meant by catch control? It specifies the information about catching. Okay, that is called catch control. Next, connection. It shows whether the connection should be closed or not. That is called the connection. Date means we showing the current date. MIME version means we are shows the MIME version used. Okay, and upgrade specifies the preferred communication protocol. So this is called the general header. Next, coming to request header. So what is mean by request header? The request header can be present only in the request message. It specifies the client's configuration and the client's preferred document format. So in this having the table that listed some of the request headers and their descriptions. So at the left side we are having the headers, request headers, that is accept, accept char set, accept encoding, accept language authorization, form, host. So these are things are headers or request headers, and these are the explanation of these headers. Accept means shows the medium format of the client to can accept. Accept char set shows the character set the client can handle. Accept encoding, the encoding scheme the client can handle. So these are the different requests are there in the header. So okay, so before we have talked about the general header, now we talked about the request header. Okay, this is the table of the request header. Next, coming to response header. What is mean by response header? The response header can be present only in the response message. It specifies the server's configuration and special information about the request. A list some of the response headers with their description. Okay, so in this having the response header table. So that this is the table. This is the table. In this we having the accept range, age, public, retry after, server. So these are the different headers available in the response headers, and at the right side we having the explanation about the header. Okay, next we having the entity header. What is mean by entity header? The entity header gives information about the body of the document. So it is mostly present in the response message. Some request messages such as post or put methods that contains a body also uses this type of header. It lists some entity headers and their descriptions. So in this we are having some header. Okay, this is the table of the entity header. In this we are having allow and we having the allow, content encoding, content language, content length, content range, content type. These are the different headers which is available in the entity header. At the right side we having the description about that header. Okay, this is called the entity header. Next, non-persistent versus persistent connection. So what is mean by non-persistent versus persistent? So in the web pages, if the web pages objects to be retrieved are located on different servers, we do not have any other choice than to create a new TCP connection for retrieving each object. So if some of the objects are located on the same server, okay, located on the same server, we have two choices to retrieve each object using a new TCP connection or to make a TCP connection and retrieves them all. And the first method is referred to as a non-persistent connection, the second as a persistent connection. Okay, next, non-persistent connection. So in a non-persistent connection, one TCP connection is made for each request or response. The following lists the steps in this strategy. So first step is the client opens the TCP connection and sends the client and sends a request. The server sends the response and close the connections. The client reads the data until it encounters and end of the maker. It then closes the connection. It closes the connection. So this is called the non-persistent, okay, and persistent connections, and non-persistent. Next, coming to persistent connection. In this, having the HTTP version 1.1 specifies a persistent connection by default. In a persistent connection, the server leaves the connection open for more request after sending a response. The server can close the connection at the request of a client, or if a timeout has been reached. The sender usually sends the length of the data with each response. There are some occasions when the sender does not know the length of the data, okay, length of the data. In this case, when the document is created dynamically or actively, the server informs the client that the length is not known and close to the connection after sending the data, so the client knows the end of the data has been reached. Time and resource are saved using the persistent connections. Only one set of buffers and variables needs to be needs to be set for connection for each site. The round trip time for connection establishment and connection termination is saved. So this is called the persistent connection. Next, coming to web caching. So what is mean by web caching? That is proxy servers. HTTP supports proxy servers. A proxy server is a the proxy server is a computer that keeps copies of the response to recent request. The HTTP client sends a request to the proxy server. The proxy server checks its check. So if the response is not stored in the cache, the proxy server sends the request to the corresponding server. So it contains corresponding server. Incoming response, the incoming response are sent to the proxy server and stored for further request from other clients. The proxy server reduces the load on the original server, decreases the traffic and improves the latency. To use the proxy server, the client must be configured to access the proxy instead of the target server. So this is called the web caching and proxy server. Next, coming to HTTP security. HTTP does not provide security. HTTP can be run over the secure socket layer, SSL. In this case, HTTP is referred to as a HTTP. HTTP provides confidentially client and the server authentication and the data integrity. So that is called HTTP security. So up to here we have discussed about the HTTP. In the next class we can continue FTP. Okay.